into their hands, for they accuse me of things I've never done.
Yeah, and what the accuser of our brethren, right? You look at that word accuser, at least in the Greek, it goes into a category of, so Esau Edom is putting men into categories. Rather man is that's that social credit system that he wants to start implementing. The red list, and the black list, all these lists that he has people categorized in whether or not you need to be put into a detention center for some time. And then really when they put you in those detention centers, you ain't just gonna be, if it's Esau Edom's way, you're gonna be in there working, building robots. And you can have some people, of course they're gonna be detained like how Jake is now, but in his new world, he ain't just gonna delete you right away. He's gonna have you go and work, until he got no use for you. He's through. He ain't meeting the quota, so get rid of him. So you wanna say something?
Yeah. Once he's done, then he's gonna use your innards, as they like to say. He's gonna take your innards.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Good enough.
Mm-hmm. And he's gonna use all he can.
Yeah.
He's gonna wring you out.
Or he might recycle you and put you in the food.
Yeah, for real. You talking about Esau Edom here?
Yeah. You talking about Esau Edom? Shit.
He went to camp. Then they got burgers. Where's Lewis at?
You guys getting meat. Yeah, you get.
That was a movie.
Instead of sludge, you guys getting meat today. You getting rewarded.
Was it The Walking Dead? I think.
No, Walking Dead. Yeah. They was like because they was looking like, where's all this?
Yeah.
Where all this meat coming from? They was grilling.
Your ass act up, they gonna grill your ass.
But the characters they used wisdom was like, hold on, man. They knew what was hold on. All this meat being cooked. We know it ain't meat like that around here like that. Meat a luxury.
Yeah, food a luxury.
Yeah, food is a luxury.
Yeah. Okay. Let's finish the Psalms.
There's Psalm 27 and 12 in the NLT. Do not let me fall into their hands, for they accuse me of things I've never done. With every breath, they threaten me with violence.
Yeah, they're gonna create an accusation against those who are fearing the Lord, and those who are coming out here on the highways and hedges. Because what are we gonna do when they make it a law saying you can't submit? Just like how it is in DC now, they're getting it to where it's gonna be a rollout to where it's adapting Alligator Alcatraz to where now this city might adapt and Texas might adapt, some type of Alcatraz to where we gotta start, because it's on the state-to-state basis, because states still have their own laws different from the government. So as long as the state agrees to it, that's why when you watch the movie Bushwick, there was like a little rebellion between state to state. So this isn't gonna be. It's going to be a civil thing from state to state,
Was that the one with Dave Bautista when they was in New York City? That was a dope movie too.
Yeah, because
that was real.
You want to say something, Mike?
No, I was just thinking, as Isaiah 19, city against city.
Yep.
Egyptian against Egyptian. Because that's what Esau, you hear civil war. Yep. Because what's happening is, the federal government, they want to federalize these states, man. That's how they're going to be able to be in oneness. With Trump putting the troops in D.C., that's him federalizing D.C. Because troops, that's the federal government. That's where their funding comes from. So when Trump makes a move like that, that's them ultimately taking over these cities, man. No more sovereignty by your mayors, all them. They don't have no power no more, man. Only the state. Whatever they token it, man. Especially when the new currencies roll out. No more using dollars. Because you go back to the states originally, before the dollar was a standard, every state had their own money, man. Every city had their own money. What that makes you think about them cryptocurrencies, man. Until what? Until organized chaos. Out of the chaos, organization came. But now you can only use U.S. dollars, man. All them other notes you can't use. So what these states gonna do when you can only use federal tokens, man? Central digital CBDCs. Yeah. You can't get no tax dollars. You can't get no funding from the federal government. So you're gonna be on your own, man. And that's how they're gonna issue in these laws, man. M law. It's gonna be forced. There's no vote, no process. Trump doing this shit. He ain't asking nobody
He doing it overnight.
because they're federalizing the United States. Man.
Yeah, because wasn't the first from Los Angeles when he sent the national troops in?
In LA, yeah, he got in trouble. So-called for trouble for that. Ain't nothing happening.
He sent him in Los Angeles, which that might have been a testing. Yeah, let me see if I can push the limits.
Yeah, but they have things called like something that's unprecedented. You know, so when you do something that's unprecedented, now it could be, well, we have this case right here, and now we have to start examining it if we're going to allow this to be, a thing that is passed into laws and legislations. And he's trying to, because, that whole, what was it? What's the nigga's name? Mr. Big Balls? That's why they have the thing going on in D.C. right now.
Yeah.
He was a part
Elon
of
Musk.
Elon.
What's that shit?
Yeah, the government efficiency agency.
Yeah.
They were just talking about it all over the damn news. They don't remember shit because my damn brains are zapped.
And there be so much shit going on too.
Yeah, but not Elon Musk government agency of efficiency.
Okay.
There was an acronym.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name is. What was
Doge?
Yeah, the damn government efficiency. Government efficiency. Doge. Mr. Big Balls over there.
Yep. And Trump said, y'all better get y'all shit together before we take that over, because again, that's gonna be everything's gonna be federalized. They want everything central. That's the only way they can make this play work. All these states and vote in, Texas, California, they got their own GDPs. They don't so-called need, help from the federal government unless the money changes, man.
Yep. And this and really the states, a lot of these governors are in league with the new world that's going to come in, because I remember in Florida when they had the lockdowns during the C-19, they said, "Nah, we ain't locking down."
Yeah.
The census.
Yes, and you see why? Because Trump is, he's really on. There's families behind the scenes that really are arguing and bickering.
Yeah.
And they allow certain things to be, to be reported. They have wars amongst themselves and like
Internal warfare.
Internal affairs. Let's look at that.
Yep. Psalm 27 in verse 13 in the NLT. Yet am I confident I will see the Lord Yahweh, Hashem Shai's goodness, while I am here in the land of the living.
And that's what you gotta have confidence in. The Lord ain't just gonna let us die, and
Starve to death.
Right. What are you gonna say?
Like starve to death.
Yeah, starve to death. Come under the, get kicked out of society, and then us not being able to go to the grocery store to buy stuff, and being demonized, and not be able to provide for ourselves.
Let me add to you real fast, because the scriptures say, water, food, these are chief things. These are the most important things a person can need for life.
Mm-hmm.
So you think the Lord's not gonna let it? You know what I'm saying? Look out for,
Yeah, exactly.
Scripture said that, Lord, the birds eat every day.
Yep.
Yep. The foxes have holes.
Yeah, because our temptation, they don't got nothing to do with animals. They're gonna be a casualty of war. When you go deep in the jungle, you go to these woods, they're just doing their own thing. They don't know what the fuck going on. They don't care about. They don't hear no Hellcats. Niggas shooting in the corner.
They woke up that morning and ate their everyday program meal.
I don't know, brother. Remember last week the squirrels just sitting down, looking at us.
Chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psalm 27 in verse 14 NOT, it says, "Wait patiently for the Lord Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai. Be brave and courageous. Yes, wait patiently for the Lord Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai."
So we gotta wait patiently for the Lord. So it's gonna be tough. It's tough now. You gotta choose whether or not if you're gonna spend a little bit extra money on your fruits, on your juices, so you can stay healthy on this side. Cause you really gotta take care of yourself, and you gotta be like, all right, well, F it. Netflix subscription ain't getting paid this month. You know what I mean? Fuck Netflix. I might go spend the extra $20 on a basket of fruit.
Yep.
So I can keep up with my health. Yep. That's kind of the mindset you really gotta be in, because things are already tough now. You got some brothers that walk to work instead of doing Uber. Sorry about that, man. But you know, that's you know that's what it is.
Yep. That's true.
You wanna say something?
Nah, you just you trim the edges where you can.
Yeah, you got trim.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody last night, and we was talking. He basically was saying like, if it ain't beneficial to you, cut it off. You know, like if it's not beneficial to you and it's taken away from you, then just let it go. Just cut it off.
Yep.
Bad habits, bad spending habits, or anything useless. Just cut it off.
Yeah. A lot of, you know, people holding on to homes and cars.
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff is gonna really try to hold on to what the little bit you got is really gonna have people merge into this beast system.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's really why people are through. Cause I have a house. I had a dude tell me last night. You know, I'm saving until I get married. And then once I get married.
She gonna take it.
Yeah, and then once I get married, then we'll have 2 incomes coming in. I was like, all right, that sounds good. I was like, why you want your woman to work so she can be all stressed out?
Right.
You know what I mean? You got it, but it's like, you didn't serve me.
Exactly.
Get this scripture out. Women, they gonna have to work. We in Babylon.
Yeah, we in Babylon. That's
But the mindset of getting a new house and so you can, I'm roommating now, but then I'm gonna get a house when I get married. We're gonna have kids. We're both gonna be working. That's a trap.
And the sad part, you know that imaginary woman, whoever he waiting for, she ain't thinking about this nigga at all.
Exactly.
She dealing with some other nigga.
Right now.
Exactly, as we
And
speak.
he's still daydreaming about her.
Exactly.
And he's like, when I see her, I'ma know. Look at this.
Ecclesiastes chapter 40, verse 9. Death and bloodshed, strife and sword.
You see, death, bloodshed, strife, fightings. You know, the sword, weapons of war being used. Go ahead.
Calamities.
Calamities. A calamity is like what you see happening in D.C. right now. All of a sudden, you got troops, you know, raiding your streets, raiding your cities.
Did you hear what the black one was going into? Y'all need to stand up and, you know.
Oh yeah. Everybody tired of the Eve.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, look, I always say that's somebody's mama.
I was
Yeah.
I mentioned that earlier. You got Jay coming out saying, where are you thugs and gangsters at now?
That's all that
You know, you
Where the YNs
talk,
at?
yeah. You talking about such and such got to check in.
Yeah.
The block yours, the project's yours, this your HUD, this, that, and the third. Now you getting ran down on by your oppressors and you running with your tail tucked.
That's right.
And with no resistance. At the most, you go see Jake talking shit and recording, but that's about it.
Call of Duty.
But that one Jake say, it's my birthday. It's my birthday.
Like, what the fuck? And Jake's so simple. Them blocks ain't yours.
Right.
Them projects ain't yours. That hood ain't yours. If anything, that's just a trap. Edom want you there so he could confine you in one area and keep you at a low estate and keep you oppressed. And you want to sit there and have pride over a it's like being thrown in the dumpster and this is my dumpster.
That's black culture.
Yeah, this is my dumpster.
Yeah,
Nah, I don't want you on that side of the dumpster. That's my side. This is garbage. It's death. Calamities, famine, tribulation,
Yep.
and the scourge.
Yep. Scourge. It said family. It said famine. I said family. It said famine. You know, death. You know, all. And it said the scourge. Scourge are those spiritual whippings. You know, the Most High.
Old school.
You know, is very.
Old school.
The Most High is very patient. You know, the Most High. He'll turn that water. And that, you know, you have the pot and the water, the frog and the water pot. He turned that water up nice, and you start feeling that heat. But Jake's still thinking you're good. You know, until it starts boiling, and now you're done. You know, you get all the frog gets all dried up. You know, Jake is really not seeing that the Most High has Jake in this horrible situation. But you hear somebody talk about, I want to get some money so I can travel, do some vacation. That's living. Freedom is, I get freedom, right? But you never really, and then I would say, would you leave America? I don't think I would leave America. But if I had money, I'd be all right. What do you mean? You make $1 million. They tax 40 to 50%. So did you really make $1 million?
Right. Hey, look at the passport bros. Even they go and they come back. Yeah. They want to bring, that woman back, but they don't want to leave America.
Yeah, they don't want to leave. Yeah. And that's a cultural difference. But keep reading that.
These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood.
These things that we just read about were all created for the wicked. So the sword that's coming, the famine that's coming, the different calamities. Remember that was 2nd Ezra 8:50? The different calamities that's coming, all these things are created for the wicked of our people. And those who are righteous are, you have the righteous and the wicked. It's that simple. Our righteousness is not of ourselves, it's of the Lord. So yeah, you do have righteous men on the earth, upholding the standard of righteousness. It ain't the ISUPK, it ain't the Genesis boys, it ain't Watchmen for Israel, IUIC,
It ain't gang banging Alizé.
Hoover Crips.
A-Tray Hoover Crip.
If I may, brother, Hoover Street is named after your old person, you know what I'm saying? It's named after, what is it, Ellen Agger, who?
Ellen Agger,
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse 18.
Keep reading.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse 18. It says, "It is good that thou shouldest take hold of this, also from this withdraw not thy hand."
7:19.
7.
It's Slakia, verse 19.
Okay, fine. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse 19. "Wisdom strengtheneth the wise more than 10 mighty men, which are in the city."
Yeah, so mighty men, 10, you have a small little city. Well, you see it now. Over there, Trump is really over with a small little garrison, taking over the hood. With a small garrison,
a small troop. Easy, flawless victory, flawless.
That little garrison he got when it took over the whole block. Ain't nobody gonna be bucking up against the authorities. What's going on? That small little garrison that's been set up, it's strong. You see it. But wisdom strengthened us more than those 10 mighty men that are in the city, right? Yep. Because wisdom is better than weapons of war.
That's right.
And who showed us that the most? Esau, the serpent. He dealt with wisdom because we were smarter, stronger, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Even though the Lord was with him on it, but
Yeah, he dealt with subtlety.
Yeah.
Because really, there's supposed to be an honor in war. Men fight against men. Yep. Men protect. What you really fighting for? If you ain't fighting for, your wife and your kids and your country.
That's when it was a thing such called as an honorable death. You dying for something. You dying for morale. You dying for integrity. You dying for honor. You dying for your people. You dying for your family. You dying for your nation.
Your king.
You're dying for your king. And Esau Edom used wisdom because it got to a point he didn't even need to use carnal physical weapons. He started using spiritual and mental weapons on Jake. Because Jake is spiritually and mentally defeated. They don't need to get a whip across their back. They don't need to get a foot up their behind no more. They could get defeated mentally. Because the mind is a terrible thing to waste. You know, and the mind is a powerful thing. And it's a saying, they say, knowledge is power and applied knowledge is freedom. And Esau Edom makes sure that the nation of Israel, they don't obtain the knowledge that they need. And what's one of the main sayings? The best way to hide something from a nigga is to put it in a book. You know? Scripture say, blessed is he that readeth. You know? Increaseth the knowledge, wisdom and understanding. You know? Because knowledge is power. It's power in it.
He has Ecclesiastes, bro.
Second Ezra 8:50.
Got second Ezra 8:50.
Bring that out.
Oh, you want it?
You got it, bro. Read it.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. It says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world.
So many miseries, many great miseries, and that's what you see happening. You know, we're already in those time of miseries to where, you know, I forgot where exactly it was, where a recent flood, but they were saying that they shut off the valves to drain the water. They shut off the valves, and that's why, you know, everything was they shut off the valves, and that's why everything was so uptight. You know, and everything was shut down. You know, everything was flooded. Slocky, that's what I meant to say. I lost my train of thought. Everything was flooding. You know, you had cars flooded. You know, so, you know, great misery is the Most High. Get Psalms 17 and 13. I believe 17, 13. Deliver me from the wicked, which is thy sword. It might be 14. 17. Okay, 17, 13. Oh, read it again.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride.
Yet many great miseries shall happen to them in the latter time, because they have walked in great pride. So great pride has fallen upon many of our people, right? And that's why they're such in a pitiful case here in these last days. And it's only going to get worse, because when you're, you know, when you're proud, you think that's all right. I'm gonna figure it out. I got it. Like a nigga trying to build a whole kitchen set with no playbook. You know, trying to build a table. You don't know what the screws are. Or imagine like trying to solve a puzzle without the damn picture. You know, for reference. That's basically the situation Jake is in. You know, a horrible case, and the Most High is gonna put him in predicaments that you can't get out of. You're already in the You're already in the predicament that you can't get out of. You know, it's always something. You know, I was gonna start investing this week. There's always something. You know, my woman needs that money. That's how Jake be. You know, well, what's the issue? You go to work every day. You come home. Why can't you afford anything? Because you're in a trap. You're in a system. You're in a pit. And the Most High has this system set up, you know, via the powers that be, so you can't get out of it.
I was talking to somebody from the Northern Kingdom. You know, they don't even got their paper, and they complaining, talking about like why, you know, like they work so expensive and they got overtime. Then she like, at the end, why? Like, what for? You know, it's like when you die, it's nothing. When you die, that's it. You know, you sitting there running yourself into the dirt to struggle and live paycheck to paycheck because they make cost of living unaffordable. So now you got to work every day or run yourself into the dirt just to survive. And that's not life. That's not living.
Yep, that's right. You got precept. Well, brother said he got a precept, and you can grab yours after that.
This 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 14. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth.
That's right, the plagues are sent. You know, what verse was that? Verse 14. You know, so we're we're seeing the plagues of destruction. I mean, the plagues of famine, the plagues of calamities, being sent. And the ultimate plague is going to be nuclear destruction. So the Most High is sending these plagues upon the earth here in these last days. And it's a buildup. Come today, not tomorrow, but today. He can really come today and beam Jacob, have the missiles get shot off. We know Kumbaya, bye Babylon. In one night. He that today is a king, tomorrow shall die. Which that is going to happen. Right? But all in the Lord Yahweh Shemashai's time. On his time horizon. He does not stir nor move them until the said measures be fulfilled. Right? So the plagues are being sent right now. That was it, right?
Yeah.
Give me precept, bro.
No. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 12. It says, the beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his maker.
Yep, so you begin living a life of pride when your heart, when your mind is turned away. The Most High is not in any of your thoughts. Because really, when you pray, that's you humbling yourself, right? You humble yourself, you pray, because you're acknowledging that a higher power, someone stronger than you, someone stronger than your muscles, someone stronger than your self-will, your determination, your discipline, has control of your life, right? Has how everything happens, whether or not you're gonna get called in to the job and get fired that day. They had a council about you. We gonna let him go? Nah, we ain't gonna let him go. Because the Most High, just as he did Pharaoh, turned up the hearts of men. Right? You got somebody plotting on you at the job. You got Eve trying to put you on the child support. All these things, you gotta understand the Most High is in control of everything. Whether or not, you drive down the road and you see 144, you be like, dang, I didn't, I was talking to customer service and they had sent me a pin, to get into my account number 441. You know what I mean?
Hey, but I was just telling this brother in the car on the way here. A road that I usually take was closed, so I was rerouted to go by a road I don't go down. And I came across and I was thinking and I randomly looked to my right and there was a big ass sign on the building that said he's coming. That wasn't no coincidence. That wasn't random. Cause I got rerouted to a road I don't go to. And second, I was already in thought, riding in silence, and then I randomly looked to my right and it says he's coming. Like it was like something out of a movie scene. When you see the judgment is nigh or he's coming or a script, like it was like big bold letters on the wall, he's coming, and that was all that was written on the wall.
Everybody knew who's coming.
Yeah. You read that, you already knew what it meant.
Yeah, the people of the world know the end is here, but the thing is, how do you prepare for the end of the world? And we're here to give our people that understanding, how a man can prepare for the end of the world, for the return of Yahweh Shai. The heavenly Yahweh Shai said, no man come unto the Father but by me. Right? So he said, look, when the Heavenly Father sends me, I'm coming to do his will, but if you want to be caught in his good graces, because Jake at the job, he always talking about Jesus Christ. And if we said Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, you already in the kingdom. I'd be like, yo, Jake, bro. Like, yo, yeah. There's people coming. Let's talk right now. Let's go ahead, bro.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 18. Verse 13 says, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination.
Yep, so he that hath sin, he that oversteps the boundaries of, that's been set by Yahweh, by Shemawah Shai, because that's what that word transgression means. This means to overstep the boundaries and the guidelines that has been laid out for us. That's why the kingdom of heaven is likened onto a fire on one side and on the other side a deep water. A straight and narrow path, and you can't get distracted. Because you driving down the road and you looking, you run off the road. You looking off to the side, you riding with a brother or somebody. Hey, look at that! I don't look. I gotta keep my eyes on the road. Only thing I'm looking at is this bumper in front of me. You know?
You know, some of these roads around here is super narrow. In a slight turn, you can end up in a ditch.
Yep.
Or hit somebody's mailbox or whatever.
Yep. Go ahead.
It says, this book of Sirach 10 and verse 13, it says, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination.
So he that hath pride shall pour out abomination. Abomination are wicked and filthy acts. Filthy, disgusting acts. Right? So, and what has to be judged? You think the Most High is going to look at your acts, your actions, and be like, yeah, I'm well pleased with that? No, the Most High's eyes are too holy to behold wickedness. That's why even us, our righteousness is as filthy rags, but we're trying. And we're covered by the blood of the Lamb, first and foremost. But you got, has thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in all the earth? Like, who you think that's talking about today? It ain't the ISUPK. It ain't the leadership in the ISUPK. You know, General Yohana getting out the truck, drunk as hell. Where the white women at?
When the old
You know, where the hoes at? You know, that type of spirit. You know, drunk as hell. You think you about to see a top man in Israel? The nigga drunk. He should have stayed in his ass home. You're gonna be that pissy drunk. You know, you look bad around your men. IUIC, a bunch of women don't come out and talk about the wickedness y'all going in. You got niggas sending penis pictures to the wife of the dude sitting right next to you. Go to the bathroom. You sitting right next to the man's wife burning. You know? Let me go.
Man.
That should be a turn off. Why you want another man's woman? Like the other apostle Ricasi, you want a sandwich that's been bitten off of? Like, hey, you want this sandwich? No, I don't want that sandwich. You should have cut the bitch first.
Right.
You know? You put your hands all on it.
Right.
Slob on it.
But we all dealt with another man's woman for the most part.
Yeah, this is a wicked and adulterous
Yeah,
generation.
exactly. But when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you changed the bun at least. The saliva's still on that bitch. Yeah, bros. You know, we threw her here, but no, that's you supposed to. We ain't dealt with another man's woman. She been with him. Scripture say, sit not at all with another man's woman. Drink not at the wine with her. Hold her not in your hands. You know, that would be like giving my family members, cousins, you know, his girl a hug. You know, give him a little side hug.
Yeah.
You know, but damn, it's a woman touching you.
Yep.
She feel good. Goddamn.
They hit you with a sob story. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You like,
What's wrong with your cousin?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to ask him. I don't even know how you got my number. I don't even got your number saved.
All right.
So, goddamn.
It says it's a little bit more. It says, and therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly.
Yeah, those strange calamities. The Most High utterly is going to overthrow them. You know, to a point of desolation, a point of not being able to rebuild. You know, everything they've been working for is going to be taken away. There isn't going to be a chance for you to get that house.
Yeah.
You know, everybody talking about interest rates going down. Well, what are you interest rates, you know, going down to low to 2-3%. Now people can refinance. People are just going to refinance their homes.
Yep.
People aren't going to buy new ones. People can afford a home.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't afford a home. So people who have homes, they're either going to go get their second home and turn the one that they have into a rental property.
It's going to pay for the one day and now.
Yep. Or you're going to have big money come up and buy whatever on the market
Yep.
at a better interest rate to them. So
BlackRock.
yeah, BlackRock.
Yeah.
Yep. They and there's 3 companies in Atlanta that own like 80 to 90% of the homes that are for sale in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so it's all a play. And you got a lot of people who have homes, who are selling homes, and then moving into apartments. Because all right, I can say this home is really appreciated last 5 years. I'm gonna cash out because I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. But now I got this $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 savings account. Now I can go to work, do my little vacations here. And before they know it, in 10 years, if we were even here, that money's gonna be gone because it's depreciating asset. The real money is the knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shai. Right? Let's get that Psalm 17.
This is Psalm chapter 17, verse 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword.
Arise, O Lord. That's what that's our prayer. That's what we're praying for the Lord to do, to arise. You know, because our power is a power that loves to execute righteousness upon the earth. So if righteousness isn't really being implemented and the wickedness have their chance to rule, that means the Most High is just sitting back and letting it happen, you know, until the said measures be fulfilled. You know, until the Most High is allowing Esau to build up a tab to be worthy of nuclear destruction, to be worthy of a memorial that's going to be on forever. You know, that's what we gotta understand. The Most High is allowing this man to build up this tab. You know, we're still in Operation Warp Speed. You know, that's the spirit that we're still in. We're still in Operation Warp Speed. Things are happening fast on the earth. You know, so we're asking the Lord to arise, disappoint him, cast this man down. He is being cast down. I beheld Satan as it were lightning being cast down to the ground.
Right.
You know, Trump they might give this man the Nobel Peace Prize. You know, all these peace treaties, peace and safety.
Yep.
Meanwhile, he's just getting these nations in order about the NWO. That's really what's going on behind the scenes.
Line them up.
Line them up. You know, this is what we require. This is what we're going to need from you. This is the plan. You know, because why don't we, the people who vote for these leaders to be in office, why don't we see what's going on? Why don't we get to talk? You know, and it's all a stage. It's all scripted. You have the reporters yelling at Putin. Man, they cut the camera, turn that bitch back on, and start yelling at him.
Yeah.
And yell at Putin. He's like, this is funny. I can't hear you. You know, it's all a joke because he knows it's like, damn, this is how they do it in America. They got the people deceived like this. You know, so it's all BS, bro. We gotta get up out of here. The wicked, the sword that he's been given, nobody can escape that unless you got Yahweh Shema Shai on your side.
Right.
Oh, you got that precept?
Yeah,
12. This is gonna be my last one. Yeah.
It's the book of,
I'm gonna speak after this one.
it's the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 29. It says, or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house?
Start at the third.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 28. It says, but if I cast out devils by the Spirit of the Most High, then the kingdom of the Most High is coming to you.
That's right. So if I cast out devils, you know, by the Spirit of the Most High, then the authority that Yahweh Shai has come onto you, right? Yahweh Shai had a high level of authority when he was on the earth, being able to overcome, you know, to dictate what happens on the earth, and that's the power that's going to be fully implemented in the kingdom of heaven, right? So the power to cast devils down. Esau Edom, he's that main deceiver that's going to be cast down. You know, I need one of those. Keep going.
It's the book of Matthew 12 and verse 29. It says, or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man?
You see, at least he first bind the strong man, and that's what happened. The goods, you know, of men have been spoiled because Esau Edom has bind you to this system. You know, you're trapped in your mind to want to be a part of this system. You know, and that's why your goods are being spoiled and are going to continue to be spoiled until he just offs you. You know, until he has no more use for you anymore.
It's the book of Matthew 12 and 29 says, or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, until he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
And then he shall spoil his house. What does the scripture say? Your wives shall be ravished. You know, all these calamities that are coming, everything you've been fighting for is going to be, you know, dismantled, taken out of the way. It ain't gonna lead to anything that's beneficial.
They work so hard for it to come to naught.
Yeah, everything you work so hard for is gonna come to naught. Alright, so now let the next brothers come up and speak. Think about it.
Ain't no telling.
I got some. You want to get Isaiah 54?
You think it's at a good percentage now?
I'm tired.
Nah. Grass not drink. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Just hold on to it though.
Like off the phone.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, and verse 14. It says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Yeah, what is a woe? Woe again being destruction, but more so go into these world wars. You know, World War II is past the second woe, which, you know, if you go into that history, you know, you go into the New Deal and, you know, the monetary system changing. So-called America becoming a powerhouse. Again, the monetary system changing, the Bretton Woods Agreement. You know, war is always about money and resources. So when these nations are getting up for war, they're not in the mentality like how niggas think, you know, oh, we're going to war over this block or whatever. You know, they want control over resources, man, and influence. So again, the third world coming quickly, going to how this war is going to be ushered, right? It's fifth generation warfare, man. No more mano y mano, you know, you get in your ranks and my best warrior. You watch some old movies. That's all long gone, man. Now everything is digitized, man. You got auto flying planes. You got, you know, what they call them drones, unmanned drones. You know, fighter jets. You got army of robots. You know. So again, more so going to the third war, how this gonna be fought. Get there in Isaiah 9. Yeah. This shall be fought with burning and fuel fire. Isaiah 9 and 5.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
Yeah, so again, going to ancient warfare, you know, my granddad was over, you know, a couple days ago. They love watching Roman shit, you know, which, you know, that's Jake, you know, but he said when they were fighting, they used to fight like men back then, you know, which is true, man. You have to have guts to go on the battlefield, you know, to deal a man and look face to face, right, and put the knife through him, man, you know. It's a different mentality. Then now you can shoot somebody from however many meters away, man. Coward, yeah. Don't take it's no psychological factor behind it, man. You pulling a trigger on the button, you know. That's why again with these airstrikes, it's nothing personal. They flying over, they just dropping bombs on people, man. You know. But ancient warfare, you know, it was organized chaos, so to say, clashing, grunting, you know, war cries, horns. You know, women wailing, screaming, children screaming, you know, commands from, you know, commanders and stuff, man. That's ancient warfare, man. Garments rolled in blood because, again, you were up close and personal, man, you know. But it says, this shall be fought with burning and fuel of fire, again, going to fifth generation warfare. And more specifically, going to this missile technology, you know, how quick this war is going to be played out, man. It's not going to be no drawn out, you know, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year war, man. This is gonna be, maybe weeks tops. Especially after that MOTB is made mandatory, World War III is full-fledged. Because they're not gonna say, hey, we're in World War III, right? But when these nations, they're making moves, politics, policies, tariffs. That's war, man. It's gonna transition eventually to something physical. That's the last thing they want to do on the plate because they know that's gonna fuck up the money. That's ultimately what the Lord gonna push these nations to do because they don't want war, man. Because as far as the devastation that's coming, because they want to keep the shit flowing, man. But it's gonna, as the Lord, we read earlier about him disappointing the wicked, man. Something's gonna happen where shit gonna go haywire, and how these elites run into bunkers, man. AI glitches or something. AI send an arsenal of missiles on accident.
Right.
It's something like that, man. The Lord put the spirit on these algorithms, man. These robots. You seen iRobot, motherfucker turn red. He glitched out, and the whole shit go haywire. That's what the Lord could do, man. Again, going to how this world gonna be fought, man. It's gonna be quick, it's moving, right? Going to these missiles. That's all.
Yep, I got you. This is Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that boiled the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy.
Yep, and a smith is a creator of weapons of war, man. In ancient, you bang it out, blacksmith, make you a nice little sword, But now you got gunsmiths, you got manufacturers, Glock, Smith and Wesson, you name it, man. Gunsmith, But again, the smith that we're talking about is these missiles, man. The Lockheed Martins, these government contractors, Raytheon, that make these missiles, man. In these manufacturing plants. Because why? Because it's the instrument of the Lord's work. What is the instrument? It's a tool, man. Same way when you got to sign something, you use a pen. Or we want to bring destruction, the Lord got the missiles, man. And he put the spirit on these scientists to do so, man. We always go into it, man. Oppenheimer, that project, Operation Paperclip, taking them German scientists and bringing them to America. Yep. Creating these atomic bomb programs. To now where you got nuclear bombs, man. Hypersonic, So now the delivery system is advanced. Because they had the whole concept of nuclear fission and clashing, particles to make a big explosion, but they didn't have the technology to deliver it, man. That's why you go into World War II, little boy and fat man, something like that. That was a free fall bomb. Yep. That's why they had to fly that plane to drop that heavy ass bomb. But now you don't gotta do that no more, man. Right. You got silos that got delivery systems that can go intercontinental, man. In minutes tops. Because again, this is the instrument of the Lord's work to make a speedy riddance of the wicked, man. When the Lord said he's gonna rush this place out with the abyss of destruction, that's what that is, man. The Lord ain't gonna drag his feet, when it comes to destruction. It's suddenly, man. And what can do that today, man, is these missiles, man, which is in the scriptures, man. Right? So second one.
This is Joel 3:9. Yep. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Yep. Let all the men of war draw near.
Yep, and that's the spirit of the earth now, man. Yep. Ain't no more laying back, chilling in Army Reserves. You scared to get your number called now. Right. All the shit that's going on around the world. Because as scripture say, the Lord mustered the host of the battle. It's not a time of peace. That's Ecclesiastes 3. Yep. It's a time of war. And these nations, they're putting all their GDP into military defense to protect themselves from what's coming. They don't care about the infrastructure of the roads, man. Fucking cracked up everywhere. You got cones, shit been worked on for 5 years, and it looked this goddamn same. Right. Been a 2-lane highway for how long? Because why? Because these nations, they're putting their money, from the state level, from the county level, to the national level. They're putting their money in defense, man. Because it's a time of war, man. It's a time of evil. And again, that's what the nations are focusing on, because this is the vibration the Lord's bringing. War, man. Yep. Again, it's that third world. Go ahead.
It says, you finish the statement?
Yeah, that third what's the third one?
Come. It says, let them come up. Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Mm-hmm. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Yep, and that's what's happened over process of time. The prime example is China. China was an agricultural-based country. They didn't have no military like that. As far as we can see now, industrialized and modernized, they didn't have, cruise, what are they called, super carriers. Right. Them big, ships that go around the earth as their own goddamn city. Naval bases, in the sea. Jets, they didn't have that stuff, man. Right. But now they're saying, we're strong because why? Because they have the same technology that's gonna usher in this WW3, man.
Yep.
You know, missiles. You know, they don't care. I mean, you got ground troop and stuff, of course. You got standing army. You know, you got people to protect. You know, the actual land. You know, we got National Guards, Coast Guards. You know, but more so specifically, again, the nations they're putting their money in weapon technology, more so these missiles. Because that does way more damage, man. You know how much time it takes to gather up and muster up a troop, to brief them, to get them ready for the deployment, all the money and time and timing it takes to do so, when all you gotta do is put some coordinates in and send a message. That's what's happening, man. And that's what's getting ready to happen, man. You know, what?
Yep, Joel chapter 3, verse 11 says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together around about thither. Cause the mighty ones to come down, O Lord.
Yep.
Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe.
Yep.
Come get you down, for the press is full, vats overflow, for their wickedness is great.
So going into timing, man.
Yep.
The Lord's letting it build up. So what? Now it's time to harvest. Now it's time for these prophecies to give fruit.
Yep.
You know. So again, these nations are getting awakened, man. They're being gathered, all right, to do what? To be over there, led to the Middle East, all right, to fight in this great conflict known as WW3, man. Third World according to the scriptures, man. And it's all for what? The controversy of Zion, because these are heathen wars, man.
Yeah.
These aren't our wars. You got Jake and these armies, but that's not us, man. You're fighting on the behalf of your country, which is not the nation of Israel, right? The true nation of Israel, not the Israelis, right? The little hat people, man.
Yeah. This is the fight our people supposed to be on, man. Like Pastor Hart said, it should be a million camps, something to that effect he said. You know, Jake, you know, out here preaching his word. You know? But nah, our people don't see the treasure in what we're doing. They don't see the payoff. They don't see the benefit. You see it in Esau, right? Somewhat. You know?
Yep. Yeah, and the funny part is, you know, you trying to avoid it. You know, saying I don't want nothing to do with that. You look at stuff over in the news, or that's over there in that land. You know, concerning Palestine, all that. The most you'll do is march around and shit. You know, but best believe, again, when the numbers are low and the shit looking crazy, it's gonna be a draft issue, man. And a lot of you idle jakes, you know, that have been playing the fence, playing around, you gonna get that mail in your mailbox saying you've been selected for selective service, man. You know, they're stretching the age back, you know, to a little bit older. So you're not out the free cuss either, man. And they're gonna send you over there to the Middle East to fight their conflict, man. Because why? Because you chose not to fear of Yahweh Shah. You want to live in this place and forward it. You want to make all the money, you know, and be in the cut, get your little house, you know. All that's gonna be disruptive, man. Because again, the Lord's not dealing with comfortable, especially these last days, man. He's making you uncomfortable to wake your ass up, man. But again, for a lot of our people, they're gonna fall victim to what's going to happen because they chose not to fear of Yahweh Shah.
I saw a brother I saw his film, but I didn't get a chance to watch the video about the YNs about the drafted off. So maybe it might be something where they're about to reissue this draft again.
Yes, possibly.
You know?
Yep.
And look, that would be great. The Lord, you know, gather all these YNs from these cities.
They want to do something.
Put them on the battlefield, man.
Yep. And if you refuse, guess where you're going?
Right.
You go in a concentration camp. You're gonna do something. You're gonna cartridge bullets. You know. You're gonna wash the truck. You're gonna do something, man. Because again, this is the evil time that we warned you about, man. From our apostles on down, man. It says, you know, the young men shall die in the wars.
Yep.
You know, women
It has to be wars. It's like it, you know.
Exactly.
It has to be wars.
It has to be. When Yahushua said there shall be wars and rumors of wars, you don't think that involves you? I'm talking about a world war.
Right.
Not some isolated event, man. I'm talking about a world war where there's superpowers involved, man.
Right.
Russia, which according to prophecy is God, you know? Which is gonna what? Usher in, you know, this thing, man. You know?
They ain't block wars, you know.
Yeah, it ain't that, man. Colors and shit. Oh, what color you got, nigga?
They got too much red on.
Right. Let me hold that, you know? That's Jake, man.
Yeah. I got some, one more verse. Okay, so, yeah. I was just waiting for this to go down here.
the Lord's judgment. It's quick, man.
Yeah.
Remember, when Jake got amnesia, how this whole CVID thing played out, man. That shit moved quick. You heard it was end of 2019, over there in Wuhan. You say that's them niggas. They ain't nothing. That shit came right over. All it takes is one nigga to get on the plane, man.
Yep.
And now everybody bugging out.
Yep.
It's always in the movies, man. It starts small.
Yep.
It's called Patient Zero. And all these contagion movies, man.
Yep.
It take one motherfucker that's sick as hell to make the whole world fucked up. Which that was a whole psyop in itself. But that's how quick things change, man. And again, we're in a time of, a world war, great deception, this devil's NWO. He got all the cards on the table, man. The enough is enough Illuminati card getting played with Trump screaming on that bitch. Because it's the time, again, the Lord prophesied of. It's the day of evil. Which Esau is a perfect candidate, man. He ain't letting up on Jake.
Last verse, Joel 3 and 14. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision.
So the Lord, He wants us to have it. You don't want peace. Yahushua said, think not that I come to send peace. When the Lord pull up in a what you call ignorantly UFO, He's coming to conquer.
Right.
He's not coming to hang out, where should I park my shit?
Right.
He gonna hover over you and claim what's his, man. He gonna beam up his elect, because these nations, they're getting ready to fight each other, but then eventually they're gonna turn to fight the Lord, man.
Yep.
In 2nd and 13th chapter, Revelation 12th chapter.
Right.
Why do there's a space force? Because there's a so-called alien threat, something that's not in my algorithm, something that's not in my control, that I'm afraid of, but I'm not gonna tell you. But what I'm gonna tell you is that they're aliens. They're our enemies. They shouldn't be, It's gonna be Yahushua and the angels the whole time, man. But again, going to the script of the Lord, we're too far deep for the Lord to say, I was just playing. Or him start backpedaling, the Lord to say, we get this far, y'all got it, man. I was just fucking around. I didn't really mean what I said, man. The Lord said, my word should not return unto me void.
Right.
This the day the Lord been licking his chops for how long, man? This is his day. This is the day of the Lord. Nowhere else is referring to besides this time, man.
Right.
This has been day of the Lord, days of the Lord. Terrible times, that happened in the past. It's all the Lord, but this is the time where He's going to return in the fashion that He's going to return, man. What?
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15.
That's what I'm thinking,
It says, "For behold, the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire."
Yep. Something about fire, man. It's the time of fire, man. And again, the Lord's stirring it up. All the drama, all the stuff happening on the earth. The Lord ain't trying to, diminish shit. He's adding to it, man. With the vision, the uproars, shit going crazy on the earth. Storms, tempests. He said, I do all this, man. Kill, make alive. Wound. Bring back together. It's all Yahweh Shai. And again, when He returns, no one in the scriptures you're gonna find it's gonna be a good time on the earth to be on His bad side. It's like Disneyland.
Right.
Oh, that's you point out like like it's some cartoon character. Oh, that's Yahweh Shai. Look, guys, let's go see him.
Right.
Like it's Santa Claus. Let's go sit on his lap. No, He said I'm coming with rebukes of fire, man. A whirlwind. So again, the Lord's not coming in no crucified manner like you've been taught in the so-called Christian churches. He gonna kumbaya you up to the rapture, then you gonna chill up there. Hell no, man.
I got one last one. Was it one there? Yeah, it was.
Goes out
Yeah,
16.
it goes out there.
Okay, this the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 16. "For by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai shall be many."
Yeah, plead means to judge. So ain't no more talking. Ain't no more politicking. Ain't no more, my hand stretched out still. Come to me and I'll forgive you. Grace and mercy is gone, man. Except for the Lord's elect. The window of repentance for you to turn back to your power, for Him to to reason and work it out with you. It's over with, man. Because again, this is what is prophesied, and most people are not going to pay attention to it. It's too late. All the stuff happening around you, it's all in the scriptures, man. That's what people say, right? It's biblical proportions, biblical events. But what is that leading to? Is it leading to the Lord's return? And again, how he's going to return is a fashion that you never even comprehended, man. He's coming to receive his glory like in the heavens, but here on the earth, man. And that's what it say, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess, right? So, and with that, and Lord's word is edifying. As always, we want to give all praise to the Heavenly Father, to one begotten Son,
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash.
double honor to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.